A scene unfolded where people were crying as they watched the world's largest ship sink. And then something happened that would leave you astonished.
Why did the Titanic, built in 1,200 days, sink in just 2 hours? 10 April 1912 was the day when the world's largest and most expensive ship, the Titanic, was fully ready for its maiden voyage. The Atlantic Ocean was extremely calm, with no signs of any storm. 1,500 passengers had already boarded, and thousands of people stood at the dock to witness the Titanic's first departure. Neither the passengers, nor the crowd saying goodbye, nor even the Titanic's crew knew that during the construction of this grand ship, 6 major mistakes had been made. Mistakes that would soon turn this voyage into one of history's worst disasters. In today's video, I will tell you about the 6 fatal mistakes behind the sinking of the world's most luxurious and most advanced ship of its era. Had these mistakes not been made, the Titanic might have become famous for its success, not for its tragic end. How did these mistakes escape the eyes of Captain Edward Smith, a man with 40 years of sailing experience? How did the owner's White Star Line, with experience operating 107 ships, not notice them? Even the builders, Harland and Wolff, who had manufactured over 500 ships before Titanic, failed to catch these flaws. Construction of the Titanic began in 1909, and after nearly 3 years of work and 2,000 laborers, the ship was finally completed. But before being launched, it had to pass its test run. The builders were overconfident after the Titanic's first test run was completed successfully. After the test pass, massive marketing began all over the world with the headline, "The Unsinkable Titanic." Its first journey was scheduled from Southampton, England, to New York on 10 April 1912. A first-class ticket ranged from $30 to private suites, which in today's money equals almost 340,000 rupees. Due to the heavy marketing, all tickets were quickly sold out. Finally, the day arrived when the Titanic was ready to begin its maiden voyage. Mistake passion. At exactly 12 noon, the Titanic departed, and the first mistake began to show. Captain Smith had strict orders from the owners. No matter what happens, the ship must reach New York by 17 April. This pressure forced the captain to maintain very high speed from the start. Every machine, vehicle, or ship has operating procedures, including speed limits. But this rule was violated right at the beginning. The Titanic soon left the port far behind, surrounded only by endless blue ocean. Mistake #2. 3 days had passed. After short stops in France and Ireland, Titanic had been continuously sailing toward New York for 72 hours. It was the evening of 14 April 1912. Silence and fog surrounded the ocean, reducing visibility. A ship sailing a few hours ahead warned the Titanic 6 times through wireless messages about floating icebergs. But due to the negligence of wireless operators, these crucial warnings were ignored. Since Titanic was carrying many VIP passengers, most operators were busy serving first-class guests instead of monitoring warnings. Had they taken the warning seriously, everything afterward might have been different. Mistake #3. The ship was speeding, the iceberg warnings were missed, and Titanic continued racing into dangerous iceberg territory. But disaster could still have been avoided because the lookout guards were alert. However, they lacked binoculars. Yes, lookouts were alert, but without binoculars, they could not spot the iceberg early. This was the Titanic's 3rd fatal mistake. The captain was informed only when a huge football field-sized iceberg appeared directly ahead, too late to avoid. Mistake #4. Icebergs were common in the Atlantic, and large ships usually handled them well. Perhaps Captain Smith also assumed the same. Upon hearing the warning, he ordered the engines to stop and commanded a sharp turn, but the distance was too short. The iceberg scraped the Titanic's starboard side. Hope still existed if the ship's hull held strong. But the fourth mistake destroyed that hope. Experts say the rivets used on the Titanic were not steel, but cast iron, which is weaker. Under pressure, these rivets popped open, allowing the iceberg's impact to tear the hull apart. Mistake #5. Water began flooding into the lower compartments. Even though the collision was severe, the Titanic still had a chance because it was designed to stay afloat, even if 3 compartments flooded. The water crossed into the 4th compartment, a point of no return. Titanic began sinking. Captain Smith sent out emergency radio signals and began loading passengers into lifeboats. But here came the 5th major mistake. The ship had space for 32 lifeboats, but only 20 were installed. There were over 1,500 passengers, but only 20 lifeboats. Mistake #6. Chaos took over. Everyone wanted a place on the limited lifeboats. At 12:45 a.m., the first lifeboat was launched. But here occurred the 6th fatal mistake. The lifeboats were launched half empty, with priority given to first-class passengers, mostly wealthy individuals. Had the boats been filled properly, many more lives could have been saved. Titanic continued sinking rapidly. At 2:18 a.m., the lights went out due to a short circuit, and moments later, the ship broke into 2 pieces. It took 2 hours and 40 minutes for the Titanic to sink completely. About 1,516 people died in the freezing Atlantic waters. The water temperature was 2 degrees Celsius, so cold that a person could not survive more than 30 minutes. Many believe the death count was even higher because several people had boarded secretly without tickets. Most survivors were women and children. Captain Smith spent the entire time helping rescue passengers and was the last person to jump on the sinking ship. Hope you will like and share this video too. See you in the next amazing episode.